Hello again. In Ireland, it has always been a popular move to blame the British for anything which goes wrong in the country. And the current row about the many asylum seekers supposedly entering their country from Northern Ireland is a fairly typical example. The claim is being made that thousands of people who have sought asylum in Britain and are now scared of being deported to Rwanda are hopping on the ferry to Belfast and then getting a bus south to Dublin and trying their luck there, thus creating a terrible problem for the Irish. The reason that the Irish government is blaming Britain for this is that they desperately need a scapegoat, because ordinary men and women in Ireland are now absolutely furious about the problems brought to their country by the immigration which those same politicians encouraged. The main problem, as it is perceived, relates to Africans, but Eastern Europeans are also being looked at askance. I've mentioned before the circumstances which led to the Irish government thinking that it was a brilliant idea to allow a lot of Nigerians to come and live in Dublin. Miss Ireland was born in Nigeria. Their fastest runner is Nigerian. There is a downside, though, to immigration from Africa, and it entails no-go areas in Dublin and attacks with bombs and machine guns. Many Irish people had enough of that with the IRA, and to see Africans behaving like that and reviving those old customs does not sit well with the average citizen of the Irish Republic. In the early hours of Monday morning, a car travelling through Dublin was ambushed by gunmen who opened fire at it with a submachine gun. The occupant, an African immigrant who may be seen in the thumbnail to this video, was killed. When the police arrived, they found that there was a bomb in the car. All very nostalgic and reminiscent of the kind of thing which used to happen often enough a few years ago. There was, however, nothing at all to do with the IRA or any other paramilitary group. It was African gangsters fighting it out on the streets of Dublin. The dead man was known to the police as a drug dealer, and they surmised that he was on his way to plant a bomb at the home of a rival drug dealer when he was shot. This is not a racial thing, or at least not wholly. Much the same sort of thing happened in Sweden when they decided to offer refuge to a lot of Albanians, many of them from Kosovo, during the Yugoslav civil war. A natural consequence is that bomb attacks in Sweden are now terribly common and have the highest rate of gun crime in the whole of Europe. In Ireland, this all comes against a backdrop of some parts of their capital becoming no-go areas, even for the police. Gangs of African teenagers roam about in some districts, in West Dublin in particular, stealing and mugging at will, and sometimes assaulting passers-by simply for the hell of it. The police freely admit they can do nothing about this. In the description to this video, I give links to a couple of news stories from Irish newspapers which give details of all this. The time-honoured excuse of cultural differences is used to excuse this hooliganism. Blanchardstown is gravely affected by this disorder, but a Dublin councillor called Tony Murphy explains that cultural differences might mean a gang of teenagers may not feel the need to step aside as an old lady walks by, or to lower their voices late at night. Well, that's all right then. It is for these reasons that the sudden influx of even more Africans is being viewed with such disfavour by many people in Dublin. Mind, it isn't just the Africans. Some Eastern Europeans are making life in the Republic more lively and vibrant as well. 5 days ago, a young man attempted to kidnap a 2-year-old child in Dublin. He has since appeared in court, but because his name is so obviously Eastern European, it was decided by the court that his identity should not be released in case it provoked disorder on the streets. I give a link to this case too in the description to this video. It is because of the public anger at all these incidents that it has been decided to try and pin the blame on Britain for how things are. But the average person in Ireland is not deceived. They know very well that these types have been welcomed into their country for years now, and it is this which has created such a volatile situation. Sinn Féin famously described the black African immigrants as the new Irish, and to pretend it's all some wicked plot caused by Brexit or the Rwanda plan is not really fooling anybody.
This is what 5 pounds of fat looks like.